Hey YouTubers! Today's video is going to be on parenting. Parenting is a very interesting subject, absolutely. So many of my mom clients will come and sit in front of me if I'm meeting them for the first time, and we could spend almost the whole hour, we could probably even spend more than the whole hour talking about children relationships, how each one of our children are so different. You know, it is so important to realize that when it comes to kids, they are all on their separate journeys. Believe it or not, we absolutely pick our parents, whether through contrast support. Many children actually will come in for specific parents or sibling relationships. I truly believe and have been told multiple times that we are always too hard on ourselves when it comes to parenting. We, whether raised through contrast and we're just trying to not, to create a more supportive environment, or if we could see old habits of things that our parents have done that we didn't like, and we catch ourselves in those old routines, those old modes, it's like that same energy. So with that, I would absolutely say, if you ever have parenting advice or you have parenting questions on how you could be doing things differently, don't know if you guys have heard of them, but there is a group called Abraham. They are channeled through Esther. Her name is Esther Hicks. You can find her on YouTube. She is fantastic. She's absolutely fantastic. Any questions that you could ever have on parenting, she is my go-to. They are my go-to as far as how do you deal with angry children? How do you deal with children throwing things, not listening, there's a multitude. It really is endless. So if you ever do have questions on parenting, I would absolutely say they are fantastic for advice. Funny enough, with them, usually the advice comes right back. So it's like, you have an angry child. Well, why are you angry? Why are you projecting that kind of influence onto them? So I will definitely say that listening to them is not always the easiest because they tend to turn the energy back on us, which is very valid and true. I would say, depending on how old your kids, everybody's going to get hit different with this video. For my people who have children that are younger, right? 0, maybe babies, ages 5 to 10. Truth is that it doesn't matter what age we are, our souls are all different levels. Our souls are all different ages. When you are dealing with an older soul, if you are raised in an older soul, I can guarantee you that child is most likely going to be very non-conforming, right? Very non-conforming. They have their own opinions. They have their own views. Absolutely. They're saying that not all old souls are contrasting. There are many old souls out there that are naturally compassionate and nurturing. There are old souls that will come in for parents to help parents on their growth, on their journey. And so you absolutely could have a child that is an older soul that is just very compassionate and kind. It depends on whatever it is that you're supposed to learn in this life. And karma, I really, really feel like karma plays a part here as well. I love it. If you guys don't know, I have children. Right now, I have a 6-year-old and I have one who's going to be 4 this summer. It's interesting because my 6-year-old, my oldest, the kid is awake. Since birth, he's always seen things, given me channeled messages, and I mean, hardcore, really crazy messages. I started at one point to write it down. I have a little journal of CJ, things that he said to me over the years since he was a kid about, the larger world around us. So when I had my second one, when I had Alex, God, he would have been, so he's 2.5. So I'd probably say around like 3.5 when, we were playing with Alex, we were outside. And, CJ was just like, we're here. We came here. We picked you, right? We picked you. Actually, it's funny. He said, I picked you. Me and brother came in together and brother thinks you're all right, which is hilarious because it's so true. CJ, my oldest, he will always push it back to me. If you have those children that it doesn't matter how you're feeling. If you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling angry, that child is going to just amplify that energy for you. And they're here for us to grow. They're here for us to learn contrast. And then other children, so I know for sure my younger one is here for his father, right? So you could see this much more supportive role where he really matches his needs, wants, and desires and just wants to spend time with him in whatever it is that he's doing. Sibling relationships is also big. You're going to notice that some children come into, they kind of pair together and then other ones don't. Again, a lot of this could be soul age. It could be, and then origin as well. I can't believe we're talking about this right now, but understanding that older souls, if you're not from Earth, you are normally coming from a different location. You're coming from a different experience. And so with that, you could absolutely have children in your life that you're raising that are out of this world, right? They're just like, oh my gosh, what is your thought process? Or they just tend to be a little bit more, well, it could be a number of things depending on where they're from. They could be more cold, more dry, very intellectual, but their heart is kind of cut off. Or maybe opposite, maybe they're all feelings, they're super sensitive and you have a hard time relating with them because you're from different origins. So right away, absolutely, any age of child that you are working with, separation, right? You are an individual, they are individuals. It doesn't matter their age. It doesn't matter their age, because when it comes to soul age, everyone is going to be a different age in soul. So I could be much older than my parents, even though physically my parents are older than I am. Or my sons could be way older than I am, and yet they are younger than me. So you have to respect that even though physical age is appearance, physical age is physical, on the inside, they're on a totally different platform. I'm trying to think of things that come up here with clients: worries, needs, wants, and desires. So really understanding that sometimes, absolutely, if you have a child and you're hitting head with them, you're having a hard time talking to them, communicating with them, really taking a step back, and am I respecting them? Right? Because some children come in, their heads, they're just overflowing. Their minds are overflowing, their thoughts are overflowing. They have all of their own ideals, own principles, the way that they view life, the things that they want to accomplish. There's nothing that you could put in there. And so with that, you have to work with them. That's why communication is huge. Listening to your children. Don't treat them like children, because they're not children. They're individuals. Actually listening to them. What are they telling you? And if they're not talking to you, a lot of times, this really goes out for my broken homes, I would say, for people who have dealt with any type of divorce or separation and there's kids involved. Every child is different. Every child is here to learn and experience at their own rate. But what I would say is connecting with that child. If you have separation happening in the home and the child is not communicating with you or with them, it's so important to as best as you can as well. If the person watching this, whoever's watching this, you guys aren't big communicators, then you need to use the tools that you have. Maybe it's not actually communication, maybe it's just physical time, but spending time with that child, and doing things in their atmosphere, doing things that they want. So often, absolutely, children will want attention, and it doesn't matter what kind of attention is, whether it's good or bad. Actually funny, because it doesn't, when I say children, your child could be 40. They could be like 35 and 40, and still any attention is good and good attention, right? They could be causing disruption. So many of my clients, holy moly, there are so many of you out there that have not just sons, but daughters who are ages, I would say 30, 45, between that range, where they're victims of their reality. They're blaming you for everything right now. It's so important, and it's about growth for you as a parent as well, to recognize I did the best that I could with the tools I was given. They are adults. They are no longer children. They are adults. And it's time for me to stop feeling like a victim in this relationship with my child. My child is treating me like a victim, and they're coming at me. It is time for you to step back, claim your power, see them as individuals, honoring where they're coming from, understanding truth. Okay, so maybe I didn't make the best choices when you were younger, but now you are an adult. So I'm going to give you your power back, and I'm going to allow you to learn and grow for your own experience, because so much of that is it is a codependent relationship. They are taking your power away because they're making you feel bad. They're making you feel guilty. And so with that, you feel guilty, you feel bad, and you want to give to cater to their needs, wants, and desires, even though It's draining for you. It's exhausting for you. I'm going to keep this video short. There are other things that we could touch on this. This is really lighthearted, but I also feel like it's going to get you guys, get your thought process going, right? Really get us to step back and see ourselves as individuals. I hope I'm hitting those older, my parents out there who have older children. You grow up, you hit an age, and, sometimes it takes kids a little bit longer, right? Sometimes it does. It takes kids a little bit longer, but I would absolutely say respect the individual, respect the person in front of you, see them as individuals, and honoring yourself. Again, forgiveness is huge here, they're saying. For those parents out there who had hard lives and they feel like they're being hard on themselves as how they parent, recognizing they're doing the best that they can with the tools they were given. The child picked you, right? The child picked you, and so whether they're learning through contrast to stand up for themselves, to stand up for their power, and even then, there are a lot of children out there where we feel like we're being hard on them, and they're cool, they're good, they're not worried. They see you struggle. They see you as an individual that's trying to survive and make things work. So it feels good. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Questions, comments below, absolutely. If you have any questions on parenting, or if you feel like you want to go a little bit more in depth with this topic, with this subject, we'll keep it going. All right? So guys, have a great day. Bye.